Yo, what is going on YouTube? It's William, the main character in here, guys, today. Oh my goodness in heaven above. We are here today to talk about the Blood of the Dead ending and the storyline implications of the Aether story. Hopefully we'll have a video coming out soon talking about the Chaos story, but obviously, personally to me, the Aether story is just a bit more interesting right now. But so, do be warned, this video does contain spoilers, so in case you're somehow trying not to spoil that for yourself and you somehow haven't figured it out already, get the hell off of YouTube. Peace the scene. But yeah, let's jump right into it. So, Blood of the Dead, going into it, I hope I uploaded the video on this, otherwise I'm going to sound like an egotistical lunatic, but I predicted damn near to the T what was going to happen with the storyline with the Blood of the Dead, obviously minus the death. But granted, it was something easy to predict, but at the same time, I didn't see a lot of people leaning this way with it. They thought blood was going to be the end-all, be-all for our premise crew and things of that nature. And while, yes, that could have happened, I mean, this could have just been a standalone map just to give us something to play. Clearly, they know how much we love the Aether story, and they wouldn't want it to end on such a bitter note. And as we know right now, anybody who's looked at the timeline, anyone who even thought about the timeline, we are currently in a complete cycle in the timeline. Now, literally the entire point of Mob of the Dead, the original map, not Blood, the whole Easter egg with those 4 characters, they were trying to break the cycle. Granted, if you played as Weasel, you were trying to keep the cycle going, but if you're playing as Sal or any of the others, you were trying to break the cycle. So coming into Blood, once again, hopefully I uploaded a video talking about this, I instinctively knew in my head that, like, this is, yes, they could just keep the cycle the same, but clearly we're gonna want to break the cycle. And we did just that with the Easter egg, and now we know the Aether story is continuing, but to what degree is the Aether story continuing is kind of sort of what people are speculating now. A lot of people have already said RIP Chaos story, all 4 DLCs are going to be Aether, and I don't believe that's the case. I believe we are still going to get 2 and 2, or we're going to get, we could get 4, but that's only if they drop another Black Ops pass for us to buy with 4 more maps. Just because I don't see, like, they put too much into the Chaos story for them to just drop it all of a sudden. And at the same time, there's not enough left with the Aether story to make 4 maps without running it dry. Now, what are the point of these maps? Whether it be 4, whether it be 2, we don't really know. We have, there's been one speculation I saw that was like, oh, since Richtofen had the ice crystal, we're going to have to go collect all the crystals for all the original staves. But while yes, Richtofen does have this crystal, there's not really any I mean, it looks like the fire crystal, but at the same time, it doesn't really make sense why he would just have it. And why would we go collect the staves for a team of people who didn't need that? Like, they used copies of the staves in Origins, yes, but this crew of characters did not need the staves per se. Other than that, I don't really, obviously there's not a whole lot of knowledge of what's going to go on. One thing we do know for a fact, thanks to that terribly beautiful end cutscene, is Nikolai is finally playing a role. Obviously, you know, there's been speculation about that for a while, but with the comics and some remarks from Mr. Blundell himself, Nikolai's finally playing a major role, which leads me to believe something could happen to both Takio and Dempsey, because this, as this new Richtofen we have, which is the one who's lived through. Okay, well, let me break down the whole thing first. I wish I could have the cutscene playing, but I'm too bad to beat the Easter egg, so you don't get the cutscene. But so essentially, what has happened is the Richtofen that has been traveling with these characters, I don't know what I just did. The Richtofen that has been traveling with these characters, this is the Origins Richtofen. And this Richtofen went with them from Origins to the Giant, through Darius and Drak, and then Zetsubo. And then this happens after Zetsubo. The Richtofen that dies, this is the end for him, unfortunately. Which they did my boy so dirty, but that's another day. That's another day's problem. But the new Richtofen that appears is the one that we see get teleported back in Revelations by Monty. And then also we have to start speculating, Monty, is he truly the good guy? Anything? Because obviously the whole goal is to defeat Dr. Monty now. But back to this Richtofen really quickly. This Richtofen has done the events of both Gorod, Crovy, and Revelations and been teleported back in time. So this Richtofen has already lived through a universe where he was kept in a cycle, which it's interesting to me that he can exist, because technically if they're breaking the cycle, quote unquote, because if Richtofen dies right there, then there's no way for Richtofen to teleport and all this other stuff. But that's time travel shenanigans. It's Treyarch. They'll find a way to fix it. But so we have I'm getting all jumbled up. But I believe we're going to have 3 more maps specifically for Aether, which is going to suck for Chaos. I hope we get another map pack where we can get more Chaos story, because there is some interesting stuff going on there. But 3 maps, specifically one for Takio, and one for Dempsey again. Now, yes, we did have Zetsubo and Der Eisendrache, where it was them collecting their immortal souls and all that, but clearly there's still some importance to the souls, as this new Richtofen needs Nikolai to keep his soul. Now, what does this mean for Tank and Nikolai? Well, because if Tank and Nikolai don't go find a way to stop their former selves at Der Eisendrache and Zetsubo and get their souls back, then that means that Monty essentially has them in limbo. Like, Monty has control over Tank and Takio right now. It's just how it is, because their souls are in the house and da-da-da-da-da. Essentially, they're no longer necessary to Monty's plan. But my best guess at what's going to occur is they're going to go through the next map learning of Monty, because Takio, Nikolai, and Tank all have to learn who Monty is, because, as stated before, this set of our premise crew, these 3 specifically, haven't gone through Gorod, Crovy, or Revelations. They don't know Monty. They don't know the house yet. I believe they know Dr. Maxis is there, but I don't believe they know. So it's kind of confusing. And then ultimately, what is Monty going to do to try to stop them is the question that's being begged now. Is he going to legitimately just wipe them from existence? And at the same time, Treyarch has spent a lot of time, essentially a lot of Black Ops 3's lore before the maps came out and stuff like that as we were going, was essentially built off of those blood vials that were supposed to have been collected here. But as the new Richtofen said when he smashed them, insurance policies are no longer necessary. The cycle is broken. So it's almost as if this Richtofen knows it's guaranteed that they can beat Monty as long as they do it properly. But why was there so much importance on the blood vials, even in that loop? Because yes, there was the explanation of that's how Monty teleported them back to the olden days, and that's how the cycle was formed. But there really Monty could have teleported them back regardless of the blood. There was no point to the blood, other than it was a reason for them to go to Alcatraz. And then another thing is what happens to the transit crew, because that dimension is supposedly, this dimension after it is all left and the Richtofen dies, is supposed to just cease to exist. However, it does exist for a little bit, just in a grayed out state. Does the transit crew make it out, or are they over and done with as well? Personally, I believe they will make it out, because the whole point of them being at Alcatraz was they needed essentially Richtofen's whole plan was he needs them for another mission. He has a plan for them. It just hasn't come to fruition yet. I thought personally one of the things we get to do in this map was to free the transit crew, but clearly that didn't occur, at least on screen. But I believe the transit crew does still have a role to play. I don't think we're done with them in any way, shape, or form. If we were, I'd be very surprised. But I think Treyarch, at least for the nostalgia, will throw them in somewhere and be like, hey, look, we got our boys back. And our girl, I should say, because we do have Misty. But yeah, that has been me rambling for 10 minutes about Blood of the Dead and how I guessed 84% of it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this theory speculation video about where our story will be heading, and don't forget, any zombies content that will be coming out, we will cover it here on the channel, whether it be a live stream of me playing the game, whether it be a video breakdown, what have you. It will be here, so make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to watch it and all that fun stuff. But I have rambled on long enough. This is the main character, signing out.